Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. The beginning of August means it is time for another Counterfeit Kit build. So our fearless leader Lisa is in charge of the activities this month, and she has chosen this company called Pink and Paper over in Europe because that is where Lisa lives. And this company is offering, I believe they're new to offering kits along with workshops that go with their kits. And if you want a little bit more information about that, the join button here can give you that. But I'm going to skip over that for now and just look at the kit for us to be inspired by. They didn't have a lot of individual images on their site, so I have opened up this tab, and Lisa gave us a list of all of these papers, so I've opened them up individually as well. So this is an overview of the kit. It's bright and sunny, has lots of soft elements to it, butterflies and flowers, definitely lots of flowers down here. Let's just quickly take a look at all the pieces. This is a closer look at the embellishments, and let me tell you, this embellishment right here caught my attention, so stay tuned for my forgery on the 4th video because that's going to be involved. All right, back to the papers. We have picnic paper by Crate Paper. This is also by Crate Paper, and I am so in love with this stripe. I just love anything painterly, and the colors are very soft and muted, which is totally my thing. And who doesn't love a good stripe with all the colors? Okay, enough of that. We've got some butterflies from Crate Paper. This one is called Love This Paper from Crate Paper. Maggie Holmes has this very, not watercolory, kind of stone effect in purple. Got some tealy florals, very pink florals, but it's got that teal in there as well, and yellow. I love this paper. In fact, I was looking at the word embellishment pack that goes with this company. So this is Cocoa Vanilla and Happy Days paper. Here is a good yellow check, which is fantastic, but I love that floral back there. I wish I had that floral. That is Maggie Holmes. We've got a nice little scalloped stripe. And then we've moved on to our embellishments. So a pack of florals, a pack of words and ephemera that has a lot of happy vibes to it, including the word happy. We have some puffy hearts here, which I definitely have in my stash, so that's not a problem. And then some puffy words from the Thickers brand. So I'll have to see what I want to do about that. But as we get started, this kit seemed a lot of pink and a lot of flowers, and I'm going to tone that down just because I know that that won't work with my style as well. I'm starting to love flowers. I just don't know what to do with them because a lot of my stories aren't very flowery. So let's see what I can do with this inspiration and build a kit. Okay, I'm going to start my kit build with my papers as usual, going in order of what's in the inspiration picture, and I'll put graphics up on the screen so you can see what I'm comparing it to. And I'm going to walk you through my thinking on A sides versus B sides, because while I do this sometimes to a certain extent, I did it a lot more this time around. So for this one, I just stuck with the A side because it was a very good match to what was in the inspiration. With this stripe, I'm running low on stripes. So the first thing that caught my attention was this purple streaky stripe. And since I knew I was going to be pulling other purples, I kept that one in there. Now I'm running low on butterflies as well. So I thought this floral print could hold its place instead, since there's a lot of florals in this kit also. So moving on to the next one, this one had a stripe on one side and a small heart polka dot on the other side. So you can see I went with a bigger polka dot and more of a streaky small scale stripe. So that is going to play A side, B side for that one sheet of paper. I've got 2 sheets. Now the polka dot has a yellow to it, which will come up in my kit later. So that one will also potentially play a role in the B side for that. Now for purple, I had this Lawn Fawn paper that is kind of marbly like the inspiration, and I chose this pink fresh purple. I pulled these both, and then I thought, you know, the scale and the color difference between those two works great as an A side, B side, so even though they're not a direct match to the inspiration, they work well. So for this scalloped with zebras on the back, I don't have any zebras, so I went with the color, and this has some rainbows on it, which kind of mimics the scallop. So I'm going to use that as a placeholder for both A and B side, but you'll see me switch it up later when I get to finessing this. Now we had a bold floral print. I am not going to be focusing on the teal color in the floral, so I'm really focusing on the purples and kind of corally peachy colors that I'm starting to pull out. So I will tuck that one into its position on the inspiration chart. So that was my initial pull, and then it was time for a second round of papers, and this is where I went a little crazy. I tried to pare down the video a little bit to not bore you too much, but I did want to walk you through my thought process. So there was another checkered in yellow, and I didn't have anything like that. So I pulled a whole bunch of other yellows to see what I wanted to do. And here you can see me, I'm trying to match up the yellows with other papers that I've got going on the kit, which will help me narrow it down. So I narrow it down to 3, and then I set it aside because I'm still not sure. And then on my list, I'm still going through other options. So I did find this stripe on my second round. In fact, I found several stripes on my second round. The first one felt too neon to me. This one feels too saturated to me. This one feels too pastel to me. So I am still trying to think, even though they have a lot of the same colors, the saturation level of the colors really matters. This is an old October Afternoon, Basic Gray, and it just had a totally wrong mood to it. This one, even though it's small, it had the right colors, but it seemed too lightweight to me. So this final paper, and I kept going with other options instead of stripes, maybe this block or some watercolory pieces. So I was just kind of all over the map in this zone. And I realized that this stripe in particular had the weight and enough of the colors and enough lightness balanced with the colors that I thought it could work. So I eliminate everything else and I replace that stripe. Now here's where I look at that teal paper, and I know I'm not going with teal in my color palette right now because there's nothing else there. So I'm just going to replace teal straight off with green. And I'm going to do A side and B side for this one. Now that one has butterflies, which my floral up there in the on the top row replaced a butterfly because I couldn't find any. And so when I went through this second round, I did find a butterfly. So that will kind of act as both pieces. Now there was that piece that just popped up on the screen that had a dark blue side to it. And that's what I'm focusing on, that B side. And I pulled out way too many dark blue papers. And I'm not going to make you watch me, but I eliminated most of them and narrowed it down to these really small scale prints because I have a lot of medium scale prints going on. I want to make sure I have enough small scale for layering later. And then I had a whole nother stack of papers, which will mostly get eliminated right away. However, I did find an actual scallop in my stash. So I am going to use that as the A side to that peachy paper that does not have zebras on it. And then I'm back to that yellow piece and I need to make a decision. Could I keep them all in my kit? Sure. But part of kitting for me is kind of narrowing the supplies down in the beginning so that I'm not making as many decisions later when I'm creating. So I do narrow it down to a smaller scale print, again, for that layerability. And then that stripe had a black and white floral on the back. So I did pull one of those to be the B side, and then realized that that yellow print had a floral print on the B side. And so I moved that to be my B side, and I replaced it with a multicolor floral that will help pull in the blues from my stripes and my scallops, because those ones have some blues that aren't in the rest of the kit. So that worked. And then another piece of green just because I really liked it. And that does it for papers. So we are going to move on to embellishments, which won't take as long. The inspiration had some puffy hearts, so I pulled out some enamel hearts as well as some puffy elements that had some of the purples in there that could work. And because I'm trying to use up partial packages, that is going to work out well. I have a random supply of Pink Fresh Studio leftovers, which when I think of purple, I think of Pink Fresh, and sometimes Vicky Booten has purple, even though she's not a purple fan. But I found 2 packages of Pink Fresh embellishments. I thought I was going to use the Simple Stories embellishments, but because I already had purple going on, I decided to set them aside and focus on the puffy word embellishments there. So I have some partial packages of Vicki Boutin, and there happened to be other things in that same package. And I thought, you know, the color's going to be okay. I'll just leave it all together as one random assortment of Vicki Boutin products. And then I did find a partially used Vicki Boutin sticker sheet. So that is going to go in there. One thing that the kit did not have was alphas. So I gave myself free rein to kind of pull a whole bunch of different styles of alphas so that I could have some choices throughout the month of what I wanted to use to tell these stories. And I tried to think of some of the colors in the papers as I pulled those. So that is going to finish off my embellishments for this time around as I leave you with some close-ups of the embellishments and the papers. I will say thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something useful out of this video. And if you did, I'd love it if you drop me a comment because I do appreciate your feedback so that I can continue adjusting the videos to be the most useful they can be for you. Until next time, which should be the forgery on the 4th, I wish you an artful day.